This is TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast, and I want to let you know that the State of the Saints podcast is brought to you by Manscape. Over 2 million men worldwide have joined the movement for all their below-the-waist needs. Engineers for the last 18 months have perfected the greatest hair trimmer ever created, the Lawnmower 3.0. The third-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology pioneered by Manscaped. You can choose the Lawnmower 3.0 as well as other items by going to manscaped.com, and you can also save 20% by using the promo code StateOfSaints. That's manscaped.com. Use the promo code StateOfSaints and save 20% on the Lawnmower 3.0 as well as other Manscaped items. That's manscaped.com.
What's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Happy Monday to you. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Hope everyone enjoyed the 3-day NFL draft. Finally, Who Dat Nation, the Saints have made their selection for the 2021 season. Some of the picks had us scratching our heads, but some of the picks we can all agree that they were positions of need. And thank you to everybody that checked out the live reaction show, the second annual live reaction show of the State of the Saints podcast, episode number 700 on Thursday night. That's right, 700 episodes of the State of the Saints podcast have taken place. And I want to say thank you all for spending those 4 hours with yours truly. And it has beaten more views than the actual first annual on last year. So thank you all for making that possible. And if you enjoy the State of the Saints podcast, go ahead and put your thumbs up, okay? Go ahead and give me the Arthur Fonzarelli. Some of y'all old enough to know what I'm talking about when I say with the old A. You know what I'm saying? Hit me with the thumbs up, all right? And if you're new, subscribe to the channel. But let's go ahead and talk about what we're here today to talk about. Let's talk about cornerback Richard Sherman. All-Pro Richard Sherman, multi-time Pro Bowler Richard Sherman, trash talker Richard Sherman, best quarterback in the league for a very long time, Richard Sherman. All right, and we're talking about Richard Sherman because Richard Sherman has been on the lips of all Saints fans all across the country and around the world, because the question on everybody's mind is, will the New Orleans Saints go after Richard Sherman? And it only added to the fire, the thirst of the Who Dat Nation when Richard Sherman was on Stephen A. World, the show that's hosted on ESPN by Stephen A. Smith, and Richard Sherman had this to say.
What's going on with you? Where are you going to end up playing football next year?
It's on pause. I got to wait through this draft process. Obviously, the first round, a lot of teams got corners. Some teams didn't get the corners they wanted. And I think once this draft process completes, my phone will ring a little more with people who expected to get a guy and didn't get the guy they wanted. I'm not as in control as I was. At 33, it's right. Just like, it doesn't matter what you put on tape. It's like, Father Time is undefeated. And so I just got to continue to stay in shape, continue to stay ready. Obviously, a return to San Francisco isn't out of the cards. I've had conversations with Seattle. I've had conversations with the Saints, the Raiders. And, we just got to wait to see how things play out.
So as you can see, Richard Sherman mentioned the New Orleans Saints as one of the teams that was interested in his services. And this is also a guy who understands his age. He understands that he's 33 years old. He understands in the eyes of NFL coaches and front offices, that's an old man, okay? If I was playing the National Football League, I would be considered an old man. I'm 34 years old. I'm a year older than Richard Sherman. So I like to consider myself not to be an old man, and I don't consider Richard Sherman to be an old man, but we know how it goes, right? But I will say this. We're here today to talk about, will the New Orleans Saints go after Richard Sherman? I'm just going to be 100% real with you all. The fact that Richard Sherman mentioned the Saints, the fact that Chris Richard is now the secondary coach of the New Orleans Saints, the fact that the Saints went out their way and moved up to draft a guy who is like the same height, the same weight, the same length, and took the same path almost similar to that of a Richard Sherman, makes this more appealing to him. And not to mention, Sean Payton, when he was asked what they wanted to do with Paulson Adebo, the cornerback that was drafted in the third round, what did Sean Payton say? He said, I would like to start him off on the left side. Can somebody please explain to me, where was Richard Sherman bread buttered throughout the league? On the left side. Now, I'm not the smartest man in the world, but I guarantee you the Saints are going to try to do everything they can within their power to try to sign Richard Sherman. And it would not surprise me if he ends up being with the New Orleans Saints. And some people will say, TJ, well, look, man, you got the quarterback competition going on. You got all this stuff going on. You got all these young players. We still don't know what these guys on the team can do yet. Man, miss me with all that, all right? Look, the fact of the matter is there are going to be some growing pains if you are a rookie in the National Football League, especially playing at the cornerback position, and you need somebody out there that can be a mentor to some of these young guys. And if Richard Sherman can come in and give you what you actually need, a guy that can go out there and neutralize the field, even though he's not as fast as he once was. We know he had his Achilles injury a couple of years ago, but he's still a really smart football player. And anybody that feels like Richard Sherman will not add to the Saints defensively when it comes to the secondary, you are out of your mind. I don't care if the guy is 33 years old. We talk about Janoris Jenkins. Janoris Jenkins was about 32 years old playing for the New Orleans Saints. And look what he did. He did an outstanding job. So outstanding that some of us were mad and ticked off that he had to end up leaving the Saints due to a cap casualty. So all these people out here that want to throw, he's 33. Who cares? Do you care about a person's age if they out there balling? Absolutely not. Do you care about a guy's age if he causes a sack? No. Do you care about his age if he catches an interception? No. Do you care about his age when he's throwing touchdowns? No. So why is it that we always got to be bringing up these type of things when a guy reaches a certain age? So miss me with that. Richard Sherman would be a great addition to the New Orleans Saints because he would fit the New Orleans Saints. If you notice, the Saints secondary, despite what you may think about them, they play with a lot of confidence. They play with a lot of sauce, a lot of swag. And who got more swag, more sauce than that of a Richard Sherman? And Richard Sherman does something that we love C.J. Gardner-Johnson for doing, which is talking trash. We love a guy that can talk trash. We love the fact that C.J. Gardner-Johnson is on the Saints team, getting into the heads of these receivers. What better way to get into the head of a receiver than locking them down and talking trash to him? So Richard Sherman coming to the New Orleans Saints, I am a supporter of it. Now, do I feel like or believe that he is coming to the New Orleans Saints? Am I definite, like 100%? Absolutely not. But I'm just saying it from my perspective, my opinion, okay? Some of you are probably, man, you don't know what you're talking about, TJ, man, you tripping, bro. Man, bump all that, okay? You have your opinion, I have mine. Richard Sherman would be a great addition to the New Orleans Saints, and he definitely will help a guy like Paulson Adebo. He definitely will help some of these other tall, lanky cornerbacks that the Saints have picked up. People like Trill Williams out of Syracuse, a 6'2", 195-pound cornerback. Guys with size, guys with length. He definitely would help them be able to understand how to use their size and their wingspan. So all those people out there that may not be, lobbying for Richard Sherman, understand this. There can never be enough eyes on a product. Defensively, offensively, if you have a guy out there that knows what he's doing, that can instill something inside of some of these players, that's beneficial. I don't care if he doesn't pan out with the New Orleans Saints. If he can go out there and tell a guy what's going on and see the field, help him to see the field, then that right there is a fine right there. Okay? I'm just being serious. If he can help a guy elevate from this level to this level, then I feel like that is a key signing. So do I feel like the Saints need to go after Richard Sherman? Hells to the yes. Okay? Hells to the yes. You try to do everything you can to try to sign this guy. Because if you look at the undrafted free agent list, what do you notice on the list? There are a lot of cornerbacks on this list. More than usual, folks. So what does that tell you? That tells you that the Saints are not sure what they have inside of the locker room, and they're not sure what's coming to camp. So they want to make sure that they put the best players in place, and they want to make sure that they get the best players available within their budget to make sure that there's not a drop-off and we don't go back to the dark ages of the 2012s and the 2013s when these guys couldn't stop traffic with a stop sign. So there you have it, folks. Do I feel like Richard Sherman should come to the New Orleans Saints? Absolutely. Will the Saints sign Richard Sherman? If I am given a percentage, I would have to say there's an 80% chance that the Saints are going to aggressively try to sign him. I really do. Between the respect level of that of Sean Payton, Chris Richard helping him to develop to be the corner that he is, and not to mention a guy who is a fellow Stanford alumni like he is, with the same size, same length, same speed level, former wide receiver just like he was, and also playing on the left side. Come on, man. You ain't got to be the Rock to raise the eyebrow on that one. All right, that's all I'm saying. But let's go ahead and take some of your questions. Thank you all so much for filing in accordingly. Thank you to all the people that are here right now. Once again, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Tell everybody that you're enjoying the State of the Saints podcast. I'm fired up to talk about Saints football today, folks. Let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to start with randomly Lil J Fizzle. Giving a shout out to Bobby Cross, McCourty brothers, or the cornerback brothers. I don't know exactly what we're talking about there. I know the McCourty twins, they're really good secondary players. Andreas says after 4 p.m., any player signs to a deal will not affect compensatory picks. Saints will start making their moves after then. Well, that sounds pretty good to me because the Saints still have a lot of needs, okay? I understand that they got guys in the NFL draft. They addressed the linebacker need. Well, they feel like they did in Pete Werner. We don't know what Zach Bourne is going to do. Sean Payton still has huge plans for Zach Bourne. He was asked that question in a press conference. And also you had, like I said, Pete Werner, and maybe you try to go out there and maybe get somebody else for depth at camp. So the New Orleans Saints are not done just yet. I guarantee you they're not satisfied with what they just had when it comes to an NFL draft and some of these undrafted free agents. You still want to combine that with guys that have been around the league. But I understand that some of these players who probably didn't get signed yet were waiting for the NFL draft to take place, some of those seasoned veterans out there like Richard Sherman, and you're probably about to start seeing these guys come off the free agent wire really, really soon. Your next says a Trillion. Yeah, man, his name is a Trillion Williams, a.k.a. Trill Williams. Look, a guy named Trill Williams can play on my team any day, okay? Look, anybody named Trill, I'm going to give him a shot, okay? I'm gonna sign him see what he's talking about. You can't have a name like Trill and can't turn up on the field. Okay, I don't know what that is. That's like an oxymoron there. Vaughn says, yeah, could we afford him? Look, I don't know if you just got here, Vaughn, or not, but I played the clip and Richard Sherman was talking on Stephen A. Smith talk show, And he said he understands his position. He understands that he doesn't have the leverage that he once did. This is a guy that understands where he is in his career. This is a guy that understands that he is standing at the crossroads of his career. He doesn't know how many games he has left. He doesn't know how many years of football he has left. And he's at that age where even though the talent is still there, teams might feel, well, I can get myself a younger player that can possibly give me that same type of production. He understands that at this particular role of his career, he's more of a mentor type guy. So I feel like when guys understand that, they're comfortable with that, they are more willing to try to negotiate to see what's the best spot for them, what's the best position for them. And I feel like that's where Richard Sherman is at. So I don't think that Richard Sherman is walking into anybody's room because he actually represents himself. He conducts all his contract negotiations on his own. He's his own representation. I don't feel like he's walking into anybody's office and demanding a substantial amount of money like he's Jalen Ramsey's age and he's in the prime of his career. This is a guy that's on the twilight of his career, and he understands that. So I feel like the Saints will be able to negotiate a contract that is more friendly. This is the same guy with the San Francisco 49ers that signed mostly an incentive-based contract, right? He signed an incentive-based contract. He bet on himself. So if a guy is going to do something like that, what does that tell you about Richard Sherman? He believes in his ability. He believes that if you put some incentives in there, he's going to be able to get them. So this isn't like you're talking about a Jalen Ramsey. This isn't like you're talking about a Tre'Davious White. Some of those guys that right now are some of the best corners in the league. He's still one of the best corners in the league, no doubt about it. But he understands his football immortality. So I think the Saints can take advantage of that and cash in on it. Not so much take advantage. That sounds like it's facetious. But I feel like the Saints would be able to negotiate and make it worth his while. I really do. Shelly says, who that baby? We that baby, New Orleans all the way. Let's do this real talk. Shelly, thank you so much for being here. And also thank you for coming back. I seen your review on the State of the Saints podcast Facebook page. I don't know who you said something about somebody threw you off the show. I don't remember throwing you off the show, and if you felt uncomfortable, I apologize with that. This is an open forum. We're here to talk about the New Orleans Saints. This is for the Saints fan that eat, sleep, drink, and just engulf Saints football. And this is also for the fan that love the Saints but probably just don't know that much about football, and learning. This is a show for everybody. We try to make this as family friendly as possible. We try to make this as inviting as possible. We give people opportunities, unless you just up here, on some straight up disrespectful stuff. I won't throw you off the show, but thank you so much for being here, and I appreciate it. And if you had a bad experience, I apologize, but welcome back. Primetime says, I think we gonna get Quan back at a good deal. Primetime, that would be a good spot, for the New Orleans Saints, a good opportunity, for Quan Alexander. Look, Quan Alexander is a guy who is extremely talented. But at the same time, Quan Alexander is starting to get a little bit of a reputation for being a guy that's a little bit of a China doll. Now, not a China doll as far as him being soft on the field, but the fact that he constantly gets injured. And, you're going to mess around and end up getting a Sean Lee treatment. Sean Lee ended up retiring a couple of days ago. He announced his retirement. Sean Lee was a linebacker with a lot of promise, a guy that could possibly, if he would have stayed healthy, could have been mentioned among some of the best linebackers in the league, but he just couldn't stay on the field. It was an ACL tear here. It was an Achilles here. It was a knee here. It was a hamstring there. And when you start to add that stuff up, everybody is not going to be as patient and as loving as a Jerry Jones Dallas Cowboys. We all know how Jerry Jones is when it comes to his players. If he has a soft spot in his heart for his players, he'll end up keeping those guys around. But most NFL teams aren't going to be like that. And Quan Alexander has to be really, really careful. And it's no fault of his. He was out there balling out, tore his Achilles, and all signs are indicating that he's going to make a speedy recovery. But at the same time, teams want to make sure that they're actually getting, in the words of Bobby Hebert, some bang for their buck. Teams aren't going to want to go out there and give you a big time contract if they're not going to be able to count on you to be on the field, right? There's a saying, and I think I heard this from John DeShazer. He's hell when he's well. You know what I'm saying? Which is funny, by the way. He's hell when he's well, but you can't make the club in the tub. All right. So Kwon Alexander can have a great opportunity. I think he loves playing here. I think the teammates are rally behind him. I think that the dynamic between he and Mario Davis, and you add Pete Warner to the mix along with Zach Bourne, I think you got yourself a recipe for a really good linebacker room. But Kwon Alexander, I wish him all the best. Wherever he goes, whether it's the New Orleans Saints or some other team, he has all the tools to be extremely productive for anybody's team. He still has youth on his side, but at the same time, you start to get injured and those injuries start to pile up and you're missing double-digit type games. You know what I'm saying? More than 2 or 3 games over the course of your career, teams start to really question should they bring you in. But if it was me, I don't think it would be a no-brainer for the right price, by the way. Who's going to start quarterback? Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston, to me, is going to start at quarterback. Now, people make some very interesting points. People say some very interesting things, very intriguing commentary, very intriguing statements, make you think, make you put your hand on your chin, you know what I'm saying, and really contemplate. But at the same time, to me, Jameis Winston is going to be the starting quarterback because to me, Jameis Winston is the best quarterback in the Saints locker room right now. I mean, maybe somebody else got some tape, got the lost tape. Maybe you got a whole VHS tape of Taysom Hill out there balling out better than Jameis. But as for me, the only thing that Taysom does better than Jameis is run. He's faster than Jameis. Jameis Winston, to me, is a better quarterback than both of these guys. Jameis Winston has a larger sample size than most of these guys. Jameis Winston has been in more situations than any of these guys, for the exception of maybe Ian Book when it comes to college football, but it does not matter. It does not matter. You know what I'm saying? I understand that Ian Book went to back-to-back college football playoffs. I understand that Ian Book has been on national TV because he played at Notre Dame and they have the contract with NBC, but he has not played on this level. So for everybody out here that's trying to make the comparisons between he and Drew Brees, he's 6 foot tall like Drew. He has a birthmark by his eye like Drew. He has the arm strength like Drew. He's a gamer. This guy still has to come in. He still has to grasp the playbook, and he still has to adjust to the speed of the NFL. And as far as Taysom Hill is concerned, look, Taysom Hill is a really good quarterback, but Taysom Hill is going to be 31 years old. Taysom Hill, in my opinion, if he would have, let me just say this I'm trying to say this and be as kind as I possibly can. If Taysom Hill was everything people would have him out to be, he would have been a starter already. The Saints would have used him as trade leverage. They would have used him as trade bait. They would have used him in order for them to, be able to benefit from it. But instead, they decided to put an offensive package together to keep him around. And I think the Saints like him because he's a matchup nightmare. But I don't think it's so much about the fact that him playing quarterback. People are looking at, he came in and he played quarterback. Look, he came in and played quarterback for 2 simple reasons. 2. I want y'all to understand this. 2 simple reasons. Number 1, because of the pandemic. Because of the pandemic, you didn't have OTAs, you didn't have minicamp, you didn't have, you didn't have opportunity to have Jameis Winston in the building to be able to compete for a backup job. Because I guarantee you, if Jameis Winston would have came in during training camp, they would have had OTAs and minicamp, and he would have been able to grasp the playbook, he would have beat out Taysom Hill. That's number 1. And number 2, which a lot of people try to ignore, these guys negotiate contracts. They negotiate contracts, which means they create these type of advantages for themselves. Sean Payton promised Taysom Hill, upon him re-signing with the New Orleans Saints, that if something was to happen to Drew Brees, he would give him the opportunity. So people will say, well, why Jameis didn't start over Taysom? That's why. It was Sean Payton keeping his promise to Taysom Hill. And here's another simple thing. We know that Sean Payton would ride with something till the wheels fall off. He is going to give a guy an opportunity. He is a man of his word. That is who Sean Payton is. He is a man of his word. We get on Sean Payton because he is too loyal. So Sean Payton gave Taysom Hill that opportunity because Taysom wanted to show that he could play the quarterback position. And that was a condition of his contract. So people are like, man, Taysom Hill, man, Taysom Hill played because that was what was negotiated during the contract signing. It's just as simple as that. It wasn't like he was just so much better than Jameis. It wasn't like so much like he had better arm strength, better ability. And the only reason why people are saying this about Jameis right now is because you actually seen him play. You seen him play for an organization that was struggling. And miss me with that stuff about Tampa Bay, winning a Super Bowl, because that is not the same team that Jameis was on. That is not the same front office, and they definitely didn't have the same vision. And if you're saying that the same playing field is the same playing field between Jameis Winston and Tom Brady, please let me know what you've been smoking and what you've been drinking. Tom Brady comes in and he demands respect. You're going to listen a little longer. You're going to go out there and try to make things comfortable for Tom Brady because of who he is. This guy has 7 Super Bowl championships. Are you telling me that you're not going to bend for arguably the greatest quarterback of all time versus a quarterback who you drafted and had some up and down seasons? You're not going to listen longer to Jameis than you are going to listen to a Tom Brady. So all those people out there that feel like Taysom is just the rightful, like, please tell me, what has Taysom done? Like in a small sample size, and I get it, right? Let's give him opportunity. Fine. But what has he done for you to see? For you to actually just like have the courage to just come out here and say that he just leaps and bounds better than Jameis. That's all I want to know. That's all I want to know for the people that feel the difference of opinion. Because I'm not into a popularity contest. Some of y'all into a popularity contest. Oh, he tried hard. You seen how he hurdled over that Tampa Bay player? You seen how he ran down the sideline? You seen how he lowered the shoulder? Look, man, I'm not into a popularity contest. I'm trying to win some damn football games. I don't care if you Jameis Winston from Ghostbusters. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Winston Cigarette. If you can go out there and you can ball out, I want you on the squad. Some of us, we fall in love with these players based on the fact of how, how they made us feel at certain moments. So we give them the benefit of the doubt because in the back of our mind, we want them to work out. I want Taysom to be successful because Taysom's success is in conjunction with the Saints' success. But if you're asking me who the better quarterback is, it's a guy who won the Heisman Trophy. It's a guy that won the national championship. It's a guy that was a first pick overall. And it's a guy who went to an organization that as soon as he stepped foot on Tampa Bay's football campus, it was behind the 8 ball. And it was a team that was trying to figure it out in the process of him being their quarterback. So that's my thoughts about it. Not knocking anybody for feeling the same way that they do about Taysom. That's your opinion. But as for me, I just think that it's wishful thinking if you think that Taysom Hill going to beat out Jameis Winston. It's not happening. Not to me, at least. Ghostface, thank you very much for being a supporter of the State of Saints podcast. Said, Jameis to me is like the guy on the couch from Half Baked. I just believe in him. Yeah, like it is. I just believe that a guy can change the narrative. Like some of us don't give guys opportunities to change the narrative about themselves. Like we just automatically just assume that we know about the situation. You know what I'm saying? Like we just automatically know. But let me just be devil's advocate here. What if people wrote us off based on the areas in which we grew up? You know what I'm saying? Like if we really like just bought into what these people actually say about us. I grew up in the Ninth Ward of New Orleans, some of the toughest areas in the Ninth Ward, right? But what if somebody just wrote me off and just like, man, look where he's from, man. He ain't never going to amount to nothing. Like how would that make you feel? That you can't change the narrative, you know what I'm saying, or rewrite the history of what people actually perceive coming from an area like that. What, you know what I'm saying? Like, why can't we give this guy the benefit of the doubt and allow this guy to change the narrative of what people actually think about him? Like, we can't just think that, everything just an easy read. We've seen this guy in Tampa, but we have not seen this guy in the Saints uniform. That's all I'm saying. I just feel like we have to give this guy an opportunity. If he goes out there and he beats out Taysom, I say get this guy an opportunity. I just think that people just want something new and fresh and something that they never seen before, or something that they feel like is the way that the NFL is going. Taysom Hill's ability to do the read option, and we see how successful that is in Baltimore with Lamar Jackson, and we know he has to, kind of the same level of speed as Lamar, and we look at that and we're like, man, we can do something with that. And sometimes, subconsciously, we start to believe that that's the quarterback that we actually need to start winning football games. But that's not always the case. I trust this coaching staff as far as developing players, because we know for a fact that they know how to develop players. They know how to put players in position to succeed. And I don't think that Jameis would be an exception. And I would go even further. If Jameis Winston don't pan out in New Orleans, I think he should hang it up. I think he should wrap it up. I don't think he will ever become a starter in the National Football League to a point where he is so comfortable that he don't have to look over his shoulder anymore. I really feel that way. Like, if you can't, I guarantee your organization is going to be like, if you can't succeed with Sean Payton, arguably one of the best play callers in all of football, then you're never going to pan out. Like, I feel like he's going to get the Geno Smith treatment. He's going to get the Tyrod Taylor treatment. A guy who is always going to be the bridesmaid and never the bride after this. Like, so to me, this is his last opportunity. Like, this is, like, they make a joke about it, but it's true. It's the Harvard of quarterback play. You have arguably the greatest quarterback of all time in Drew Brees. You got arguably one of the best play callers of all time in Sean Payton. Like, we've seen Sean Payton get Teddy Bridgewater paid. Like, we've seen Sean Payton make people make phone calls about Taysom Hill. So if you can't make it here, I don't think you can make it anywhere. That's just me. TJ, who will start at tight end this season? Adam Troutman. That's Adam Troutman gonna start. Adam Troutman, but I still don't feel like the Saints are out of the woods just yet. I still feel like you need to get yourself another tight end. Nick Vannett, I feel like he is a blocking tight end. I don't feel like he's like an every down tight end like you'll see like a Jared Cook or a Ben Watson or something like that. So I think but Adam Troutman is gonna get the nod. He's gonna get the nod, in my opinion. Shelley says, yep. Jamal said Taysom is a career backup. Look, I don't even think. I'm trying to be nice. Taysom Hill is in the best situation he ever gonna be in his NFL career. It's just that simple. He's in the best situation. Any other place that Taysom Hill would have been, he would have been riding the pine. At least the New Orleans Saints, like they put this package together for him to actually see the field. And I feel like any other place that he would go, you might not have an offensive mind like Sean Payton to be able to create packages for you. This is the best situation that Taysom Hill can be in. Like, I don't want Taysom Hill to be like Tim Tebow. Like, like Tim Tebow, wanted to play quarterback. And everybody wanted to switch his position. Play fullback, play tight end. He didn't want to do it. I'm a quarterback. And I get it, right? Been a quarterback your whole life. You won a Heisman Trophy, won a lot of games at Florida. But as a quarterback in the National Football League, you just didn't have it. And you're going to have to, come to grips. I'm not saying right now because the quarterback competition is still going on and we don't know. I don't know. I'm like I said, I'm just making a statement, giving my opinion. He might come out there and ball out. But if he does not, if it just so happened that he doesn't, I feel like he just needs to come to grips and be like, okay, let me just settle into this position and this role right now. Because in reality, would Taysom Hill got as much money as he got if he didn't play all those positions? No. He probably would be sitting on somebody's bench making about $1 or $2 million. This guy's sitting up here with a $16 million guaranteed contract and get opportunity to play all over the field. So I think that if you want to continue your career in the National Football League, if you want to continue to be a football player, I think if you don't win this competition, I think that you still have aspirations of being a quarterback in certain situations. But you come to grips to say, I'm just going to do whatever they ask me to do, like I've been doing. Because right now, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can make an argument to say that he's one of the greatest overachievers in the National Football League right now. Like, seriously, man, like, you're not going to get that type of money just riding the pine unless your name is Chase Daniel. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not. Like, this guy Swiss Armied his way to $16 million. And the chances of you doing that ever again are slim to none. So I just think that if he goes to camp, they have a fair competition. He loses the competition. He should just come to grips and be like, okay, I mean, the Swiss Army knife role isn't as bad, you know, and you can continue to play. But if you have aspirations of being a quarterback, you might go to a team that don't really see everything they can do in you, just like Sean Payton did. So I think that's something that he needs to think about. I think that's something that he needs to he may need to figure out if he don't win this competition. Black and Gold Breakdown Podcast. Thank you very much for the $2.99. The Saints signed undrafted free agent Dylan Sherman, solid blocker. Yeah. I think I had him on a list if I am mistaken. Let me see if I can find who you're talking about here. Oh yeah. The tight end from Iowa State. He's 6'7", 272 pounds. He's originally from Prairie Grove, Arkansas. He played in 49 games, recorded 26 receptions for 312 yards and 1 touchdown. In 2020, he played in 11 games and posted 18 grabs for 205 yards, and he was voted by Lee's coaches as the Big 12 honorable mention selection. In 2019, he posted 7 receptions for 107 yards and 1 touchdown, earning conference honorable mention honor. So as you can see, Dylan Schooner, big guy, big, you know what I'm saying, a lot of size. Definitely the type of player that Sean Payton loves, especially down in goal line situations. A guy, if you can teach him how to get those 50-50 balls, go up there and grab it. I mean, this is a huge man right here. Like this is a big man. So he has a strong possibility of making the team, and he definitely fits that mold of what Sean Payton likes. And we all know that Sean Payton has a type. Okay, anybody that's saying Sean Payton don't have a type, and Sean, I love you, but getting up there acting as if like y'all don't have a type, come on, dude. Like, y'all love Ohio State players. Y'all like defensive ends that, that's over 6'7", that's almost like Javon Curse style hybrid type defensive ends. Like, come on, man. The jig is up. Okay, the jig is up. Let's stop pretending like y'all don't have a type. Let's stop pretending like y'all don't love Ohio State players more than any other players in college. Let's stop pretending, okay? Let's stop pretending that when it comes to tight ends, you like the tight ends that's big and tall. They all have a type, all right? So let's stop pretending and acting as if we don't know what's going on. And like I said, I love Sean Payton, man. He's a great coach. But when he talked about Ian Book and they asked him the question about what quarterback do you see reminds you of yourself, and he said Ian Book. He said that I want to say Rich Eisen. He was on Rich Eisen, so he said Rich Eisen brought it up. No, he didn't. Coach, no, he didn't. All right. And I understand, like, at that day, and I'm pretty sure, like, he probably legitimately didn't remember. I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, he did fair share of interviews that day. I'm pretty sure that wasn't the only interview he did. So he probably didn't remember. And I'm pretty sure like you do enough interviews in the course of the day, your mind is on autopilot. But Rich Eisen didn't bring that up. You did, Coach. But at the same time, I mean, he's here now, so we'll see. We'll see. Norman says, we love you, bro. You the GOAT. Keep it up, man. We proud as he'll be a part of this, man. We going worldwide. Well, I appreciate that, Norman. Thank you very much for your support. I really do appreciate that, man. I appreciate everybody being here. Appreciate everybody that's been holding it down since day one. I appreciate everybody choosing the State of the Saints podcast as their podcast for Saints information. Like, we built this podcast from the ground up. We ain't cut no corners. We ain't paid people to get on the show. We didn't do all these different things, you know what I'm saying, to try to make ourselves stand out, look appealing. We may not have the greatest diction in the world. We may not be the snappiest dressers in the world, but guess what? I think I'm one of the best out here. I think we have one of the best podcasts out here. And ain't nobody, I don't feel like, you know, when it comes to like grinding, I don't feel like nobody doing it as hard as me. Maybe I'm being biased. Maybe I'm being biased and maybe I'm not looking at everybody, but you might sound better than me. Hell, you might look better than me, dress better than me, but I guarantee you ain't going to want it more than me. It's just as simple as that. I mean, I don't feel bad about saying that. We built this podcast from the ground up. We started off just doing voiceovers and slideshows. And now we're in front of the camera talking to some of the best and the brightest minds in football. And when we got here through hard work, dedication. Like if you look at me or you look at my podcast or you look at me on Instagram, Facebook, we ain't trying to fake it to make it around here. Okay. I ain't trying to go out here spending $200-$300 for a photo, you know what I'm saying, for a photo shoot to make myself seem important. I'm an everyday, you know what I'm saying, everyday guy who goes to work, take care of his family, married. That's what I do. I'm an everyday guy. All right. And we build this thing from the ground up. And I'm proud of what we built. I say we. I didn't say I built. We built. I'm proud of this. When I get in front of this camera every single day, every single time I do a podcast, I'm proud of what we built here. And you should be proud. Because in reality, we weren't supposed to be at this point. We don't supposed to be talking to people like John DeShays. We don't supposed to be talking to people like Zach Street. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so we did it. And we just getting started. Like we just getting freaking started. We just getting started. We in a room now, man. Since we're in a room, man, we're going to make the best of it. King Arthur is TJ. What do you think about those corners from Syracuse and Tennessee we picked up? Also, the undrafted free agents that we pick up that you're interested in. Well, you already mentioned them, King Arthur. Number one with Trill Williams, the 6'2", 200+ pound cornerback out of Syracuse. Big, tall guy, a guy that's not afraid to go up in there and lower the boom. The only thing I'm concerned about him is as far as his movement. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes he can get beaten coverage, but I think at the same time, like I think that the Saints can actually do something with him. I think that they're starting to get some of these taller guys because they've seen Chris Richard have success with these guys out in Seattle. Okay, we see how he did with Byron Maxwell. You know, got Byron Maxwell paid out there in Miami, and it just didn't pan out, right? But I think that the Saints see that they could actually get some of these guys in because they feel like Chris Richard could kind of help these guys be able to utilize their height, you know what I'm saying, and their skills and their wingspan. Also, I want to make sure I'm getting this brother's name correctly, but Bryce Thompson, cornerback out of Tennessee, he's 5'11", 185 pounds. He was a 3-year Letterman starter for the Volunteers. He's from South Carolina, out this way. Nader played 32 career games and 28 starts, recorded 102 tackles, 73 solo, 8 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 8 interceptions, 19 pass deflections, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 fumble recovery. So a very active college career. As a junior in 2020, Thompson played in 10 games with 8 starts and posted 36 sacks, 27 solo, 2 stops for loss, 2 interceptions, 4 pass defenses, 1 forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. So this guy's been pretty active. It's always good to have those guys that stay around college sometimes. It takes them time to develop. By the time they get into the league, they know about being a leader. They know about, going out there competing. So I think that the Saints want to make this thing interesting. I think that the Saints are a team. They're not like some of these other teams that try to put a square peg into a round hole. If it don't work, they don't try to make it happen. The Saints want to have a cornerback competition to make sure that they put the best guy on the field. And I'm not mad at that. But I also feel like you have to get yourself a veteran. You got to get yourself a veteran that understands the speed of the game. Sometimes these rookies go through growing pains because they have to get adjusted to how fast the NFL is. So if you can get a guy like Richard Sherman, who's the topic of conversation here today, and you combine that with a young guy that can actually learn from him, then I think that you'll have yourself some success. So, but thank you all so much. The State of the Saints podcast is brought to you by Manscape.com. Manscape.com, the official sponsor of the State of the Saints podcast. And I have a promotion for you all. If you go to Manscape.com and you use the promo code State of Saints, that's all one word, State of Saints, you will save 20% off of your purchase, okay? 20% off of your purchase. And there's something that's coming out really, really soon that I am so happy to announce, man, but it's coming out for Manscaped in a couple of days. So I'm looking forward to telling you all that great news. But check out Manscape.com. Use the promo code State of Saints. You'll save 20% off. Thank you to all those that have purchased your Manscaped items, helping Manscaped continue their partnership with the State of the Saints podcast. And thank you to everybody that donates to the State of the Saints podcast. I appreciate that as well. Let's see. TJ, I heard you guys, you just talked about having issues with tightness in their hips with changing direction. That can be detrimental when playing receivers who great route runners. Yeah, but King Arthur, that's not something that can't be fixed or adjusted. Like all these guys, they have issues, right? And it's up to these coaches to get these guys in position to win their matchups, to become better players. It's not it's very rare that a player won't come into the league having like some type of limitation. But if you can get a guy that's willing to learn, that can humble himself and don't feel like he has all the answers, then you can have yourself something. And I think that these guys can do it. And if they can't, then no harm, no foul. You go out here and you try to find yourself somebody that can come out there and give you what you want for the time being. And, if things don't work out throughout the season, then you go into the draft and you try to see if you can get better positioning and get yourself a cornerback. And maybe next year you'll be able to get the corner that'll be able to be on that opposite side of the ladder more. So I'm not upset about that, man. But I think that these coaches do a really good job. And I just really feel like Sean Payton just got these guys because he really has a lot of confidence in Chris Richard. And Chris Richard is going to instill a type of swagger and confidence inside of these guys. Him just coming to the New Orleans Saints, I feel like will be the shot in the arm that the secondary has needed. I think the secondary, their confidence level is high, but their technique, is very, very spotty. I feel like you're going to have the confidence and you're also going to have the technique. And if you have that, then guess what? You're going to have yourself a really good defense. Shell says, thank you. Have a great evening. Okay, you do as well. Mr. Bourne says the ball walker 3000, I think, come out. Well, I didn't hear about that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not too sure about that, or is that even a real product? But no, that's not what I'm talking about. But I am looking forward to telling you all about it, man. I just can't, not right now at least. Casual says, I'll make you a deal, TJ. I'll buy a Manscaped product if you make some SOTS merch with those awesome gold letters. Casual Dex, you got yourself a deal, man. Honestly, I'm in a process right now of making merchandise, like consistently making merchandise. The thing about it is I have like different websites that I use, in order like to have shirts. And shouts out to people like Chemo and Chanel and people like that, what I'm saying, that purchase casual purchase, people like that, that purchase like, the State of the Saints merchandise. But I want to make sure that for me to roll it out, I want it just to be consistent. Like I don't want to be reliant on someone to be doing these products. And, I want to make sure that they're quality. And a lot of the times, I have not been satisfied with some of the companies that I've used. And I feel like if I don't want to wear the shirt, why would I want anybody else to do it? So I'm taking upon myself to personally do them myself. I already got things that I need, the materials. And once that happens, then we're definitely going to have some shirts rolled out. We're definitely going to have some merchandise rolled out. It's going to be affordable. I ain't trying to break nobody down. But at the same time, I want to be able to make sure that if you're wearing SOTS products, I want it to be quality. I don't want it just to be, I'm just trying to make a quick buck. Nah. Okay. Never been like that. Ain't trying to be like that. Even though I understand, the State of Saints podcast, it's a brand and everything like that. I want to make sure that it's a quality brand. So that's the reason why, and I want to make sure that I consistently have that merchandise for you all. But it's coming out really soon. I promise you that. Jeremiah says our team is ready for the 2021 season schedule on next Wednesday evening. Well, I hope so. I hope they are. I think it's going to be an interesting season. I think they'll be ready, man. Buck Crazy said, "What up, TJ? Love the show. Keep up the good work. Go Bucks." Well, Buck Crazy, thank you so much for being here. Congratulations to you all winning the Super Bowl. Hopefully, the Saints can have some of that success this year. We'll see, man. I mean, you all have that huge target on your back. Last year you snuck up on a lot of people, but this year, man, you're gonna get everybody's best game. But you all have a lot of the players coming back. You added some depth, so it's gonna be a very interesting season in the NFC South. LMG Sayal says, "Did you watch the Lattimore arrest video?" No, I didn't. I don't know, man. I'm just kind of getting away from that type of stuff. I just can't watch that, man. I can't remember the last time I actually just sit up there and just watched police video. I just can't, man. Like, I don't know, man. I'm just tired of watching stuff like that. I mean, I heard about it. I heard some things, but no, I didn't watch it. And if you ask me, I don't have any intentions on watching it, I'm just glad that, nothing seriously happened. I understand he got arrested and everything like that, but I mean, he's out. Pretty sure you're probably gonna have to sit down a few games, but I'm just glad that, it's not to a point where we're talking about, him going to jail for a long time, Aaron Hernandez type situation. I'm just happy that that's not the case. All right. So that's my opinion on that. But no, I didn't check it out. Gigatis, thank you very much for the $5. Says, TJ, what do you think about Lawrence Woods the third, 4'2", 40, or 5 foot something, 170, 180 pounds? Sorry if you covered this already. I missed the beginning of the show. Well, Lawrence Woods, let me read his stats real quick. Lawrence Woods, okay, he's from Thurman State. He's 5'9", 180 pounds. He's a St. Louis native. Was named Division II All-American following the 2018 season, in which he was also the Great Lake Valley Conference Special Teams Player of the Year. That season, Woods returned 3 kickoffs for a touchdown and averaged 50.8 yards per return. That's insane. He played only 4 games in 2019, but added another 87-yard touchdown return in the season opener versus Drake, while adding a pair of interceptions and 8 pass breakups. Woods did not suit up for the Bulldogs this season, opting to focus on preparing for the beginning of his NFL career. So this guy right here is a lightning in a bottle, and I think that's a good pickup. I love Deontay Harris. I think that he is the best return man in football right now, but he does have a tendency of getting hurt. I mean, we've seen when you had to go to guys like Marquez Callaway. You had to go to people like, put Traquan back there a couple times. You know what I'm saying? I had to put Alvin back there a couple times. So if you can get another guy, that can give you that same type of production on special teams, you take advantage of that. You at least bring him in to see what he actually had. So I think that's a good pickup. I think that he will serve well on special teams, and if he goes out there and he shows a little bit more, it wouldn't surprise me at all if the New Orleans Saints find a way to put him in the game, just like they did with Deontay Harris. And the Saints they always finding those guys that are diamonds in the rough. I mean, we look at Deontay Harris. I mean, he didn't come from a big name school, right? But he went to Assumption, if I'm not mistaken. Like, that's not a big name school. And this guy, Truman State, like, I ain't never even heard of it, So I never heard of Truman State. So I think that there's going to be a play for him, man. Guys, seem like he lightning in a bottle. We're going to make a playoff NFC Championship and Super Bowl 56 in LA next year. What do you think about Jameis Winston and the rest of them players? I think Jameis Winston, if he comes in focused, ready to work, blocking out all the white noise, and just dial in, I think that he'll be fine. I think that if the Saints understand and play the way they did when Drew Brees wasn't in the game, the defense stepped up, special teams stepped up, offense stepped up, I think they'll be just fine. All right. And I also feel like this is for the first time in a very long time that the Saints are really flying under the radar. Like, I understand that we get mad because ESPN, Fox Sports 1, other news outlets don't really cover the Saints. But for the most part, the Saints have been relevant due to the fact that Drew Brees has been their quarterback. I mean, you have to mention the Saints because of the great quarterback player Drew Brees. But now that Drew Brees is gone, people don't have the same expectations for the New Orleans Saints. They don't feel like the Saints should have Super Bowl aspirations. They feel like the Saints should have rebuilding aspirations. So you no longer have that pressure. You no longer have the pressure of, like the Saints are a Super Bowl favorite or the Saints going to the Super Bowl. You no longer have that pressure. So now you're creating a new narrative of what people actually have to feel about your team. So I think that would be beneficial to the New Orleans Saints, that the fact that they can go out there and they can play their game and they don't have to have the pressures of, oh man, are they going to the Super Bowl? What they going to do in the playoffs, this, that, and the third. So I think that's going to be beneficial to the team. Fan-based workplace, thank you very much for the $20. Says, great show, TJ. What do you think about the wide receiver we got at pick number 255? Also, will he be a good replacement for Sanders? Well, you're talking about Kawan Baker, who came, I think he's about 6'1", 215, and he came out of USA, University of South Alabama, out there in Mobile, Alabama. And I have a few clips of him right here. You can take a look at it. This guy right here, man, he's pretty excited, man. He's a guy that, to me, he doesn't remind me so much of Emmanuel Sanders. Emmanuel Sanders, to me, is more of a finesse receiver, good crisp route runner. This guy, to me, reminds me just of a bruising type wide receiver. He has a little bit, and he mentioned this, and since he said it, I guess I can see a little bit of Deebo Samuels in you. Like, you see a lot of the plays that he's running, you'll see in these clips. It's a lot of jet sweeps that he's running out there. You okay? I mean, you see the back shoulder fade there, the quarterback threw to him. So, I mean, he has, good ball skills. But a lot of the times I'm seeing him running in between the tackles on the jet sweep, and also just him being in a slot. And I feel like this is something that the Saints have been missing for a while, having that third down wide receiver that you can look to. They tried to do that with Traquan Smith. To me, it just didn't work out. I like Traquan, but I don't think Traquan is as physical as most people that you'll line up in the slot. This guy right here, when you're playing in the slot, you got to be wired a little bit differently. Okay, you got to be wired a little bit differently. You got to be able to, understand that there's a possibility that you can take that big hit. But it don't seem like he's afraid of it. I feel like the Saints can find packages and ways to get him in the game. Right here, man, you see him fighting to try to get into the end zone. So I think that he will be a really good pickup, especially like in third down situations. I feel like in third down, I haven't seen like constant production, a guy that for a fact that the Saints are going to go to on third down since like Willie Snead has been here. So I think this guy can be your Willie Snead. I feel like he can be your Kenneth Stills. I feel like he can be your Lance Moore. And I like the fact that the guy's confident in himself. Like he has confidence. So might be a really good pickup. Might be a really good pickup. All right, we're gonna read a few more and then we're gonna get up out of here. Andreas says Baker reminds me of Deebo Samuels. He has 9 rushing touchdowns last season. Yeah, around 218 yards. I want to say rushing. So they definitely aren't afraid to put him, in those no jet sweep situations. He's not afraid of the contact. That last play where you see him try to fight and get into the end zone. I mean, it shows me that this guy is hungry, and I think that the Saints got themselves a dog. So. But, I mean, he still has to go into the training camp. He still has to go out there and prove himself. I mean, he's picked number 255. He wasn't picked number 55. He wasn't picked number 5, right? So still not a guarantee that he's going to make the team. The Saints would have got him on the team regardless because they were going to sign him anyway, as he said. But he has to go out there and prove it. Empty-minded gaming, thank you very much for being a supporter. Says, I think Baker would be a good fit. Yeah, me too. Saints do a really good job at getting guys that fit their system. And, I was thinking about this the other day. I think it might be a good thing that the Saints aren't as desperate as we want them to be sometimes. That may sound crazy because a lot of our way of thinking, including my own, is based on how last season ended. Right? If things didn't turn out the way that we wanted last season, we start to look around and say, why couldn't they get over the hump? What plays could have been made? And we start like thinking about them addressing certain positions. But the Saints, they're different from other teams. Other teams, they get those positions there. They kind of reek of desperation from time to time. But the Saints, they don't care. Like, if a player does not fit into their system, if they don't feel like that guy would be a good in the locker room, if they don't feel like that guy is smart, if they don't feel like that guy is tough, they don't feel like that guy will be able to mesh with the other players, they do not get those guys. And maybe that, that's frustrating to us because we want them to get them. But at the same time, for the last couple of years, they have proven that they're right more times than not. Like we get mad and get frustrated because we want to see them draft the players that we want, the players that Mel Kiper and Ty McShay have talked about, the players that we've seen on YouTube, highlight videos galore. But it's not so much about the highlights. It's about what can that person do when they get to the organization. Because you have to look at it, folks. If you're a number 1 receiver in college and you're a go-to guy, and 9 times out of 10 you're getting the football, and the way the Saints play, like the way they do it, they throw the football to the person that's open. They like you have to really humble yourself to be in the Saints offense. Like you can be a running back that's capable of running for 120 plus yards a game, but you may not get the opportunity to do it. You might be a wide receiver that's capable of averaging, 100 plus yards per game, or, or close to it, but you might not be able to do that because it's running back by committee to a certain extent. It's wide receiver by committee to a certain extent. And you got to be able to humble yourself. And maybe the Saints understand what they actually have within the organization, and they understand that maybe more than we do. And I guess in some ways I can actually appreciate what the Saints do, because Like I said, maybe it's good that they're not as desperate. Because think about this, man. When you're desperate, you don't make the right decision sometimes. Like you ever been, like had to pay a bill or something like that, and like maybe you didn't make the right decision in order to get that money for the bill because you're desperate. You might have, took some money here or took a loan for somebody that, that you don't really trust. This just stuff, Like I'm just using that as an example, but there's several other situations where people are desperate and they make desperate decisions. And I'm glad, like when they were making comments about the Saints moving up to the top 10 and throughout the draft, people were like, why the Saints didn't move up? Why the Saints don't move up? But then Mickey Loomis gets up there and he says, well, teams want us to pay a king's ransom in order for us to move up. And we're not trying to jeopardize the future. I can appreciate that. And I think you should appreciate that because it's showing that even though this team needs certain positions filled, they're not willing to jeopardize the future in order to, live in the now, right? And if they're going to do it, they want to do it within reasoning. So for that, I can appreciate it. For that, I can say, man, thank you for that. Because when we're so focused on the Saints drafting a certain player, when they don't get them, we get frustrated, we get angry, like myself, and it's just hard for us to understand the logic. But like I said, 9 times out of 10 for the last couple of years, they've been hitting them out the park. So I can't knock them for that. But I want to say thank you all for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. And previous episodes are available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. Also, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not already, youtube.com. Search The State of the Saints podcast. Also available on social media, facebook.com. Search The State of the Saints podcast. Follow yours truly on Twitter at State of Saints. And for all my SWAC fans out there, HBCU football fans, you can check out the State of the SWAC podcast that's available right now. I had a special guest on the State of the SWAC that I'm going to be uploading really soon. ESPN play-by-play commentator, Miss Tiffany Green. Some of you probably know her. She covers and commentates all the HBCU games on ESPN. I had opportunity to talk to her about SWAC football, also Deion Sanders, the SWAC championship, and so much more. That's going to be available on the State of the Saints podcast really soon, so you all can check that out. But subscribe to the State of the SWAC podcast. All my HBCU folks out there, graduates of HBCUs, fans of HBCU, check it out. I think you all can enjoy it. Kind of the same type of platform as this. And thank you all so much for being down and supporting the State of the Saints podcast as we transition and we move to higher heights. Merchandise is on the way. Interviews on the way. I already confirmed that the Saints reporter Rod Walker will be on the show this week. I'm working something out with Mike Detillier right now. I should be hearing back from him this afternoon. If you're looking at this and we're recording on a Monday, I should be hearing from him pretty soon to have him on the show this week. And we're going to try to get a few more individuals to talk about the NFL draft. So keep it locked right here. State of the Saints podcast for all your Saints information. Want to come here, have a good time, laugh, joke around. This is the place for you. If you have not already, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Hit your boy with that Arthur Fonzarelli. Like I said, some of y'all probably know what I'm talking about. Some of y'all don't. But hit me with the thumbs up. Hit me with the Arthur Fonzarelli. I really do appreciate it. This is TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And all I got to say is, who dat?